So yeah, at some point, I actually have to stop this rant. Like, I actually have to. It has to end at some point. So I'm going to finish by saying, I mean, I can't imagine anyone is actually going to listen to this all the way through. I imagine there'll be some lefties, actually, who may even be listening to this part of the rant right now. Not because you listened to it all the way through. No way, you would never do that. But because you've skimmed through. Because I know what your problem is your problem is you can't just enjoy being ignorant. You are ignorant. But to me, the whole point of being ignorant is you just don't care about anything, and then you can just sort of live your life and don't care. So, but your problem is you don't want to be ignorant. You want to be seen as if you're not. So what you do is you like to pretend that you've checked everything out. So you're the sort of person that will skim through something so you can sort of still nitpick at it and feel like you know about it, even though you don't actually know about it. So you might actually be listening to this part of the rant, even though you didn't listen to the rest of it. Good for you. You're so clever for thinking of that. Oh, I can just like listen to little bits of it and then I can still criticize it, even though I don't know what I'm talking about, which is your whole life, isn't it? And there's, a tiny handful of people that might actually listen because they're interested. But that type of person probably already agrees with me, already thinks the things that I think, and this is kind of pointless. I'm preaching to the choir. So who am I aiming this at? There's got to be someone out there, there's people out there that I wish would hear this. And it's the types of people who are in the bubble. You've been living in the bubble, but you didn't know. And you actually want to get out, but you don't know how. And it's like, well, first of all, let me tell you where you've gone wrong up until now. And that should help you get out and figure things out. And just, I'm not telling you that you should think like me and you should be just like me. I'm trying to tell you how to learn what everyone is saying, because you think you know what everyone's saying, but you don't. You're in a bubble. You just need to know what everyone's saying, and then you have a better scope, a better grasp of what's going on, and then you have the ability to form a better opinion about what you really think about the world once you know about the world. But let me tell you where you've gone wrong up until now. Because you see, I know what you do. I'm in your mind. I'm in your life. I know your life. I can tell when I talk to people. I can tell what type of person I'm talking to. I'm like, oh right, you're one of them. Oh, you're one of them. Oh, you're one of them. And I do bump into this quite a bit, where you get people who, you're not actually like a committed lefty. You don't really associate with any group. You just think you're living your life, and you think, first of all, the first mistake you're making is if you think that you can just sit there and wait for the news to come to you. Anything important will just sort of float by you, and you'll go, oh, right, I need to know about that. No. The stuff that comes to you is bullshit. You have to, if you want to know what's going on, you have to go digging for it. I'm sorry. And I know what you have done up until now. You basically tap out, you don't pay attention, you just live your life, and you watch Netflix shows and you watch podcasts about your favourite type of music or sport or some shit that you're into. And maybe you're in a relationship and you spend time with them, and, you do things, you go out, you eat food. You're not sitting around listening to people talk about politics all day. You're not sitting around, researching things or watching debates, or you're not doing that. And I don't really blame you. You're not checking out the alternative media and trying to learn every angle of every single issue and every single thing that happens. You're not doing that. It's fine. But what you're doing wrong is you're living your life like that, and then every once in a while there'll be something that you kind of like feel like you're out of the loop. You feel like, oh, I should know about that. Oh, I don't really know what's going on. Oh, I'm behind. I've fallen behind. So then your solution to that is you will just start watching the news every day for like a week. And you'll start scrolling around on social media, seeing what everyone's talking about, and you'll just sort of like absorb what they're all saying and what they're all posting. And there's like a couple of people that you think are really smart people, and you think that they're always up to date and clued up on stuff, and you'll check in on what they're saying about whatever current event is happening, something that you think you need to know about. And then, after that, you feel like you're up to speed. And then you just sort of slip back into your lifestyle and you slack off again, and then you'll just go on this cycle. Every now and then or maybe there's an election coming up, and everyone's suddenly talking about politics. You feel like you need to know, so you just start watching the news every day. I'm telling you, you're watching bullshit. You are watching and listening to a one-sided view, slanted on everything. Not to mention there's like 10 things happening that you won't even know about. It won't even be talked about in the circles that you're listening to. It'll be ignored and pushed out, and you'll be told, and then you're just being warned off about certain people and how bad they are, and you're just like, right, that's what I need to know, is it? Okay, all right. It's like the way you're acting, the way you're living your life, is you're living your life as if you have just started a new job, and they like really needed new staff, and you're just suddenly there, and you kind of like bullshitted your way a little bit into the job. You're not as experienced as you told them you were. You don't really know what you're doing, and then you're just asking your coworker like, "Oh, what do I need to know? What do I need to know? Oh, okay, yeah, tell me." And then you're just sort of blagging your way through it. You don't really know what you're doing, and you don't actually know that the co-worker that you asked for advice from, how do you know that they even know what they're doing? No, you need to actually do your homework and learn. And like I said before, if you don't want to do that, if you can't be bothered and you haven't got the time or whatever your excuse is, then just tap out and shut the fuck up. Like, you don't need to have an opinion about everything. Can't you just enjoy actually being ignorant? Because this is the thing. Most subjects, if you don't know anything about it, the reason you don't know anything about it is because you were never interested. You know, you're not going to go researching every last detail about something you don't care about, are you? So it's like me. I don't know anything about cars, right? I've never owned a car. I've never fixed a car. I just don't really care about cars. I don't know about football. I don't know anything about football. But if I met someone who was a mechanic, or their big passion was football and they knew everything about football, if they started talking about that shit, I would either just try and change the subject, because I don't know what, I'll just go, oh, I'm not really into that, and I'll change the subject. Or if they insisted on talking about it, I would just sit and listen. I would just be like, okay, you tell me, because I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know anything about these subjects. What I wouldn't do is start arguing with them, or trying to tell them, or going, what makes, if I met a mechanic, I wouldn't go, what makes you think you know about cars? How do you know you're really right, though? Like, I wouldn't just sit there and, like, pick at them and get all pissed off that they know more than me. But for some reason with politics, because politics is about how to run a country, that's what it's about. And because we all live in a country, so the way it gets run affects us, and we just all feel like we should have a say. We all feel like our voice is valid. Everyone's opinion is just as valid as the next. And it's not. You don't know anything. If you're one of these people that just sort of like doesn't really pay attention, and then you think you can just catch up by just watching the news for a week, the bullshit news, the fucking left-wing mainstream bullshit news, you're just pretending. And when you start saying your opinion, you're basically like me arguing with a mechanic. Or if someone that was really into football starts telling me, oh, this is the best player and this is the best team, and I go, no, I've just decided it's this other team. Why do you think that? I don't know. But my opinion's just as valid as yours. No, it's not. You don't know anything about football. Shut the fuck up. Well, I saw a picture of this guy in the newspaper and they said he's good. And I heard someone else say that this guy's bad. So that's my opinion. Yeah. Or if a mechanic started telling me about different types of engines, and if he was like, oh, this engine can actually make your car go faster, but this engine is more efficient because blah, blah, I wouldn't go, no, it's not. I think it's the other way around. Why do you think that? I don't know. It's just my opinion. My opinion's just as valid as yours. No, I don't know anything about cars. A mechanic can still be wrong, or a mechanic can still just have their own opinion, and then another mechanic could have a different opinion. Or two people that are both really into football can have different opinions about who the best team is and stuff. But they still both know about the game. They know about everything that's going on. I've never even watched a game on purpose. I've just seen it around other people's houses or in pubs. I've never purposefully actually just sat down and watched a football game. So why the fuck would I start telling two people that are talking about football what I think about football? It would just be completely pointless. But for some reason, yeah, with politics, like I said, everyone is involved. They feel like they're involved. They feel like they should have a say. And then they just sort of assume that their opinion matters. And they go, well, I think this. It's like, based on what? So my advice to people is, if you're not interested and you just want to be ignorant and you just want to tap out, by all means, please do. Just as long as you shut the fuck up. As long as whenever anyone wants to have a discussion about anything serious, as long as you just stay out of it and just acknowledge that you're ignorant and you don't know what you're talking about, then that's fine. I'm not saying you have to pay attention to everything all the time. If you don't want to, then don't. Don't force yourself. Just shut the fuck up. Don't vote. You're out of it. Like, just don't bother. That's fine. But I'm talking to people that sort of like want to be involved and want to have an opinion. And you've sort of tried and you feel like you've been trying really hard because you did watch the news every day for a whole week once. I'm like, look, it's really simple. Like, I don't know why it's so difficult to get people to just step outside the bubble. Like, surely you know how to use the internet. Here's an idea. Why don't you just go straight to Alex Jones? I know that you think that Alex Jones is the most far out there, extreme, complete nutcase that's so beyond the pale. He's so just like, only nutters listen to that guy. It's like, well, okay, if you think he's so extreme, why don't you just, this is the fastest way, why don't you just start there and then work your way backwards? Because if you try and take baby steps all the way, it's going to take like ages and you won't even know who to listen to, or you might be wasting your time. Why don't you just go all the way to the edge? Also, bear in mind that Alex Jones isn't as fringe as you've been led to believe. It's only inside your bubble that you're told that he's just like some sort of goblin that's just out sitting on another planet somewhere that crazy people listen to. No, he's got a massive audience. Why don't you just tune into him every day for like a month? And then see what you think. Because then whatever you want to say about him after that, you will have a valid opinion. You will actually at least know what your opinion of Alex Jones is, instead of just having one fed to you by liars. And then Alex Jones has plenty of people on the show. It's not just him sitting there ranting all day. He has interviews with everyone. And then from those interviews, you will definitely see one or two interviews where you go, who's that person? They're really interesting. All right, I didn't know about that. Maybe I should go and listen to them. Why don't you just start at what you think is the most extreme and then work your way backwards? I bet you anything that's a way quicker way to navigate your way around the alternative media. Instead of just going to random websites and going, oh, I don't even know what I'm looking at, and then you'll just go straight back to your old ways. By the way, when I say listen to Alex Jones, that doesn't mean just wait for a clip to pass by on Twitter. I mean, actually go to InfoWars and listen to him every day. I'll even give you a crash course on how to listen to him. A lot of times he does all these ads for his products and stuff, and it takes up a lot of time, and you're probably never going to buy the products. So don't watch that. And sometimes he goes on these big like God rants. He gets all biblical sometimes. And maybe you don't believe in God, or maybe you already know about the Bible, so you don't need to listen to it. And you'll be sitting there going, why is he going on about God? Just fast forward the ads, fast forward the God rants, and just listen to what he's saying about what's going on and watch the interviews he does with people. Then you know what he's saying. You know what's going on in that camp. I'd say do that. Like, so many people have got these opinions about Alex Jones, and I go like, what's the longest you've ever listened to him for? And it turns out it's about a minute and a half. Well, same with Trump. They got these opinions about Trump, and I'm like, but how much of your opinion is formed by what people have said about Trump? And how much time have you spent listening to Trump? Have you ever actually just watched one of his speeches all the way through? Just like even one. Just one. And they never have. And I'm like, the chances are, if you went and just started listening to Alex Jones, I bet the real problem is he just uses too many long words and talks about too many concepts and too many things that you don't know about, and you actually just don't know what he's talking about, and then you'll just tune out because you'll be like, oh, I feel stupid, I don't know what he's talking about. But then in translation, you will translate that into, oh, he sounds crazy. He sounds crazy translates to, I don't understand what he's talking about. It's like, you know what a dictionary is? You've got Google, you know how to use Google. How about every time he says something you don't understand, you just look it up? Or how about you just listen long enough that you start actually going, oh, when he says that, he's talking about this. Oh, when he says that, he's talking about that. And try and actually, like, learn. I think people just sort of associate listening with agreeing. I'm like, you don't have to agree with anyone. Just listen to them, understand them, and then move on, listen to someone else. Like I said, like, why do people need to have an opinion about people that they don't know anything about subjects that they don't know anything about? Why do you need to have an opinion without substance? It doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, if anything, I recommend listening to Alex Jones just because of his guests. He'll have so many guests on, there's bound to be one where you go, fucking hell, I've never heard of this shit. Who's this person? And everything they say, you're like, whoa. And he'll just have them on for like an hour, but then I'm sure you're capable of learning what that person's name is and then following them. Yeah, another way of going about it, I just described the wrong way to go about it. There's more than one wrong way to go about it. The wrong way to go about it is to sit around just like not paying attention to anything, and then once in a blue moon you go, oh, I need to know about this thing, and then you just sort of listen to a lot of bullshit for a week. Talk about it with your friends that have all listened to the same bullshit, and then you think you know about it. Stop doing that. Try and leave the bubble. But here's another place you can go wrong. This is what some people who think they've left the bubble, they have left the bubble, but they've dived straight into the conspiracy theory nonsense world. It's like, because you're lazy and you're ignorant and you want a shortcut and you want it to be quicker. You don't want... I watch about 6 hours of news a day. About 3 hours in the morning and then more at night. It's usually about 2 hours in the morning, about 4 hours at night. I just keep watching things because I actually want to check all sources. I actually want to hear what the left are saying and what the right are saying and what the far right are saying and what the conspiracy theorists are saying. And it takes time to learn all of that. And if I'm not 100% sure what I really think about a certain concept or a certain issue, I will listen to people debate it. So you've got one person that's really strongly believes one side of something and someone else who really strongly believes another, and they're both really intelligent, articulate people, and they have a debate, and you hear the ideas being fleshed out, and it helps you form your own opinion. Like, I'm sorry if you can't be bothered to do that and you haven't got the time, but think about all the bullshit you spend your time doing. And also, this stuff is interesting. I actually find it interesting, so it's not difficult for me. I want to pay attention. I'm interested in what people do and why they do it. To me, it's not even politics, it's psychology. That's what it is to me. I want to know what people do, what they think, and why they think it. But yeah, this is where you can go wrong. This is another way you can go wrong. You can go, I want to leave the bubble. I don't want to be trapped inside a fucking echo chamber where I only know one side of something. I want to know everything. But you're still lazy and you want a shortcut. So you won't do what I've just told you to do. What you'll do is just go on TikTok and scroll through loads of random 2-minute videos of just random people spewing out all of their stupid ideas and showing you videos of dots that they've connected. But the reason why that's a mistake, and you'll just end up believing in all kinds of conspiracy theories that it's just a mess. The reason why that's a mistake is because when you're just scrolling through things, you don't really know where they're coming from, and someone might say something that's actually true. They might just strike it lucky and just come up with something. But you get one true thing and 40 bullshit things, and now all that crap is in your head, and you can't remember which one's which, and your head is a mess. The reason why I suggest actually knowing who you're listening to and knowing what you're doing. It's because consistency is the mark of someone who's on the money. Consistency can't be proved in a moment, in 5 minutes. That's kind of what consistency means. It's like someone who continuously stays on track. It's like if you need to meet a bunch of people somewhere and someone gets there early, you can't go, oh, that person always turns up early. No, they might have just turned up early that one time. If they consistently always turn up early and there's another person who consistently always turns up late, then you can say that person's always late, that person's always early. But you can't prove it in just one meetup, can you? It's like you don't know who's who. The person who was late, that might be the only time they've ever been late for anything in their life. They're not ever late. But just because they're late that one day, you can't say they're late. They're consistently late.